Welcome back, everyone, to the best podcast in New York. This episode of the Assassin Cast is for the week of June 24th, 2018. I'm Jeremy Malaspina, accompanied by the one and only Dan McCarthy. And
Good.
in this episode, we're going to be going over the following topics. We're going to be talking Taco Bell. That's fucking interesting, right? Is going to be at San Diego Comic-Con this year for Demolition Man's 25th anniversary, and we're going to explain why. It's actually pretty interesting. We're also going to be talking about Jim Carrey to play Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Oh my god. We're going to explain and discuss the concept, which also includes Paul Rudd, but he's not Sonic the Hedgehog. Don't worry.
This is the first time you'd be happier to hear about another Dreamcast. This fucking movie.
I know, right? Okay, and we're also going to be talking Sicario 2. There is also more to that name. I just don't have it written down. With Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin. And it seems badass, so we're going to talk about that. And then the last topic of the movie section is also, speaking of Josh Brolin, we're going to talk about what he thinks of his performance as Cable in Deadpool 2. And Dan's not going to like the rest of this topic because it seems there's an X-Force movie coming, and it looks like Fox sees the potential to make more X-Men movies from that franchise.
Like, oh, man, I haven't made enough. Why, of course, make some more.
Yeah, why not? Well, while it's hot.
And Jackman will be in each one, everyone.
Oh my god, let's hope not. Alright, so moving on to gaming later on in the podcast, we're going to be talking the NES Classic Edition, how it's been re-released, and we're going to discuss Nintendo's strategy. This time, why scalpers can fuck off.
Yep.
You guys are going to like that. Alright, and then also over the recent week, we're going to be talking about Sony totally not giving a fuck about cross-platform play. And we will also talk... Shit, I'm lost on this list. We're going to be talking shaq-Fu. Also.
Yeah, I saw you wrote that on there, yeah.
Oh my god. We're going to be...
to do with Shazam?
Not quite, but if you got physical version of shaq-Fu, you got a nice little surprise, and we're going to be talking about that also and explain what the fuck that is. And the last ridiculous fucking topic that I wasn't even sure I was going to put on the list is we're going to be talking Westworld the game. And for Dan's beloved franchise, this has got a lot of fuckery going on. So we'll talk about that as well. So, with that being said, what's the news in your life, Dan? You want to tell everybody your crazy story today?
Well, what? When I killed the fish?
Oh my
That's all that
god.
matters here in New York. For me, at least. Maybe not our host here, Jeremy. But for me, yeah. Finally getting some fish coming in here in New York. So I was able to get a nice big one today. Solid. Probably biggest one I've had in like 8 years, give or take.
Yeah, probably,
So,
right?
Nice 5-pound spook. So it was beautiful. Yeah.
That shit was
amazing. Just ate it.
That shit was big, man. That shit was
Yeah.
big.
It's a solid fish.
Hell
I said,
yeah.
you know, unfortunately for our viewers, I'm not playing as many games, but like I always say, I always do this. This will be the period where I'm lulling on games, get back into the retro a little bit, but I flow into it as we start getting into August and new sports games pop, and then that'll flow into the newer games that I'm excited about, like we always talk about later in the year.
Yeah, right. Me too. I mean, I'm playing some stuff right now. I'll get into it later on.
You're better than me, like in that sense, because you got more games. But yeah, I agree with you. I should be playing Halo 2 from you, but...
Oh, yeah, he actually, guys, he forgot that last night. He's supposed to get into some nice retro classics on the Xbox One X. So, we'll get that to you later this week, so you can take care of that. So, in my life, it is hot as fuck up in here in New York, man. They had a heat advisory for Nassau County on Long Island. So, for you city folk out there, you guys probably got it just as bad. I don't think why they would only put it for Nassau. It was fucking hot everywhere today.
I was out on the water. It was hot.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So, fortunately, my apartment's just cooling down now, but we're starting the podcast, so I cannot have the air on because it makes too much noise. So, fucking hey. Here we are.
After Sylvia here, Jeremy, due to the topics.
All right.
Don't worry, guys.
And,
all the in the description.
Yeah, right. We'll just leave the description. You guys could just read it for once, so we don't have to be here. No. So anyway, before we go on, we had a great night last night for my girl's birthday. So happy birthday, babe. We had an awesome time. So that's really the news in life right now. Oh, and before we get started, I'm almost done editing the cleaner video, the console cleaner.
I'll just start laughing.
I know. I've been trying to get it out there. It's even funny that I mentioned that in the video when I was editing. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I actually said that I should have had this out weeks ago in the video. So, hey.
Months ago. Yeah.
All right. So, that's what it is. So, anyway, let's talk about Taco Bell. You ready?
Yeah. Taco Bell.
All right. Good old Taco Bell. They're going to be making an appearance at San Diego Comic-Con for the Demolition Man's 25th anniversary. What's cool about this is that they're actually going to make like a whole section of Taco Bell that looks exactly how it was in Demolition Man.
Yeah.
So that's
funny.
That's pretty fucking cool, actually, because if you guys know, the Demolition Man movie takes place like sometime in the future, and then like
yesterday.
Yeah.
Now.
Like now it's probably this year now, but like back then it was in the future. And Sylvester Stallone he gets brought back to fight his nemesis, which happens to be
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes, right?
Man,
right. That movie's great.
I started falling in love with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, right.
I was younger, yeah.
She's like the main character for that movie.
Smoking hot. Salutations. I remember.
Right, so it's pretty cool that they're going to be doing that for the people. I mean, just the fact that they're going to give you like some sort of futuristic look to your Taco Bell is a pretty cool stop. I mean, from what I heard, when you're at Comic-Con, you get hungry, and like the expo food for the most part isn't the greatest. So to have Taco Bell right there, hey, you got to
surprised. What you think? I would think like
right.
you'd be jumping all over that. Like not so much that it would be like what's it called? Like gourmet food, obviously. But like honestly, the food that I would think would be huge there would be like food trucks.
Yeah.
Like, rolling up there with burgers and shit like that. Even if it's ethnic foods, just getting all the diversity out there. Because the California coast is really known for a lot of like some of the best food trucks in the country are known to be out there on the West Coast, right around San Diego, San Francisco area. So
No,
I'm
yeah,
surprised they
right.
don't say that. I'm kind of shocked that people. That's what I would. Comic-Con's, you already know that there's millions of people there. You would think it's a good business sense just to roll up.
Right, you just go there with your. Yeah,
I'm sure you could. Like, you know what I mean? Think about it. All I gotta do is name something in Klingon. I'd make a fucking fortune.
In Klingon, those motherfuckers would be like, "Oh shit, I got the Klingon fucking."
Just a hamburger, but I don't care. If I call it Nakna or whatever the fuck they say, like I'll be killing it.
Oh my god. Oh man, that's so funny. Yeah, and like, you make a good point. A food truck would be a great idea to go up to Comic-Con. There's so many people there. You probably make a lot of money. But I mean, as for Taco Bell, I mean, to do something like that, I think is a really smart marketing.
Well, Demolition Man, was that a comic or a graphic novel? I'm not 100%. Maybe people that watch or write this could give a feedback on that.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming it, if I remember correctly, but I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember either. But I mean,
Socket Phoenix sounds like something that's a fucking movie, but I'm not sure.
I mean, it's sci-fi. You know what I mean? Sci-fi. You would imagine that fucking it has something to do with it. Who knows? Yeah, maybe we could give an update on that and let everyone know if we ever remember.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's it. So, if you guys end up going to San Diego Comic-Con, let us know. Let us know how that looked. Or take a picture. Yeah, put it on our Facebook page. I would love to see how that shit looks, because we ain't going to be out there. That's for fucking sure. So, before we move on, I forgot to mention this. Podcast movement. Yo, shout out to you guys. Because you guys always have our back here at the Assassin Cast. They're always posting this up on Twitter. So, shout out to you guys, man. I don't know why that just came to my mind, but hey, shout out over there.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we'll leave that at that. Let's move into Jim Carrey. This is fucking ridiculous. All right, so I mean, is it really ridiculous though? That's what I was gonna ask you. Is this really so fucking ridiculous that?
Part of it that makes me that I'm most trying to figure out because it's such a quick, like it could be forever when we see it. Is this gonna be real life or animated?
Right. So now, for our viewers out there, we're talking about Jim Carrey playing Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And before we go into how ridiculous this may or may not sound, coming from Jim Carrey, for all we know, I don't know. It's kind of like it's like animation CG, but like real life. I don't know how that's gonna work.
Like Avatar?
Maybe. It might be.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense to me.
So now he's discussing taking on this role as Dr. Robotnik. And if you think about how like outrageous Jim Carrey's been throughout his career in movies, it kind of makes sense. Like I feel like he could definitely pull it off. I don't know about the voice so much. Maybe, I don't know. I guess we got to see how he does it. But what's interesting is there's other people involved in this movie, like Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's supposed to be playing
Tails. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Holy shit. I would have a fucking heart attack if I saw that. No, he's supposed to be playing Sonic's policeman friend.
I don't really remember much of the Sonic story. I just remember trying to jump through all those
Right.
lanes.
I just think, like, I remember there was an animated series.
Yes. There still is.
Right, there still is. But I'm talking about the
Yeah.
one from when we were a kid.
Yeah.
I don't really remember how it was, but I kind of remember something along those lines, and I could be completely wrong. But apparently Paul Rudd is taking on this role as Sonic's policeman friend, and I would have to look to see who's playing Sonic himself. But it's interesting. It's an interesting concept, and it seems like Sega's really scraping the fucking barrel right now to try and get something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. When was the last like video game that did good, like as a movie? Like, remember we joked, but like Doom, shit.
Right. I think Resident
Final
Evil.
Fantasy had one that was like so-so, but Resident Evil, I guess. But I honestly thought all those movies were dog shit.
Right.
Like, I don't get me wrong, I watched every single one of them, so I guess that makes me sort of a hypocrite. But I don't think those were movies that I was like blown away with. And I try to think, maybe there's some I'm missing that people can think of outside of it, but I can't think of any of those movies, games that made a movie that really resonates with me. Unless it was something that honestly I didn't know was a game that then is a great movie to me.
Right.
But I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't cross over well.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And honestly,
Why
is
Sonic game? Why not Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong? Like, you know what I mean? Is that what we're going to? Yoshi? But there's never been a Super Mario movie. Well, actually,
there was, and it was fucking
back.
terrible.
I take that back.
So you're right. Every fucking video game movie has been terrible, but I think Sega's smart in a sense because my theory on it is they're doing this to appeal to kids. So obviously, if you haven't been living under a rock for the last fucking couple years, you know, Nintendo's been cashing in on Sega's properties with all the Sonic characters. You know, they're releasing Sonic games on their console, so it's like they're probably appealing to kids. It's going to probably be geared towards kids with actors that adults can resonate with, so that when they go to take their kids, they'll be able to sit there, watch, and hopefully enjoy it.
I just figured it would be like a Pixar type of thing. I don't know. We won't know until we see more about it, or if it even happens.
But that real life shit doesn't really make sense.
That makes me think like Avatar in that sense, like those James Cameron does with all that. But then again, that shit's not cheap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that what does that mean? This thing has some sort of a budget if they were going to do it like that.
Especially with all these actors in it.
Exactly. So it's very like you don't know. Like it makes it interesting, I guess. It piques your the antennae, so to speak.
Right. And now we don't have any information on a date, obviously. And there's definitely not a trailer. This is just like the talks in the works. So of course, later down the road, we're gonna most likely have to talk about this at some point. So when that time comes, we'll give you a full update. We'll discuss the trailer like we usually do. I'll take it from there. But it was interesting to see this news from this week. And honestly, I wasn't scraping the barrel on the topics for most of these, but that one kind of stuck out to me because it was a little bit of both. A little bit of gaming and movies right there. So we had to talk about it. So, Yeah, you're welcome out there. So we'll leave that at that. And now let's move into Sicario 2. Now, Dan, you just watched the fucking trailer,
Yeah.
so let them know what you think real quick.
I thought it looked really good. It was action packed again. I always take it with a grain of salt when I watch a trailer, but still, the concept I liked. I told you I've been a fan of Josh Brolin minus all his Marvel movies. I've
Mhm.
liked the characters he's played, like No Country for Old Men.
I'm
I
just
thought he was
about to
really
say
good at
that, yeah.
like stuff like that. Like he's played roles where he's got that attitude. So now he's playing what seems to me like a black operative CIA agent, and it bounces. I'm assuming it's two. So like I said, I'm sure I saw one. I remember vaguely because it's got Benicio del Toro in it as well,
Yeah.
where he's playing another of the main characters. But to break it down for people, it's really just like, to me, as far as my breakdown, I'm sure Jeremy will give a better one. But I just see it as, it's a story where you have two guys, one's out for revenge, the other working for the government, trying to create some sort of an espionage-esque, what's it called, revolution in Mexico. And eventually, the guy that's out for revenge for killing his family in the previous one, Benicio del Toro's character, he then befriends one of the girls that the government sees as a liability.
Right.
So then it starts as the two working together, being Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro, and then the movie starts to progress as the two of them then going against each other, which is interesting because, like I said, Brolin plays a really good bad character, like
Right.
a guy that just doesn't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that.
Working a lot, right? When you see this now, think about it. He did Cable, Marvel, and this. I mean, I know a lot of these finished years ago, but still, he's done a lot of movies now.
Right. And honestly, from what I took away the same thing. And from the first one, I saw the ending, which is weird because I think I caught it on TV. And I'm pretty sure that Benicio del Toro, he's going to leave. And I think he might be out of the game at this point. I don't even know. But he's like...
And he's a government.
Yeah,
he works for the government.
He works for the government of Mexico, or he did at some point. And his wife had a gun in her hand, and she was gonna try and kill him. And he was like, "You're not gonna kill me." And he stood there in the parking lot from her building while she was on the balcony, and he's just standing there like, "Go ahead, fucking kill me." And she wouldn't do it, and that's how the movie ends. And then it turns out that his family gets killed. The next,
yeah, because they broke that
movie.
right in the trailer.
Right.
Family, yeah.
So I don't know if I'm even right on that because I don't really remember. I think I only saw the end of the last one, but from what I see on this one, it's really looking like a good movie. There's a good plot. There's a lot of action, and then you got two good actors playing off of each other. And at first they're working together, but then, like you said, Benicio del Toro doesn't like the fact that the U.S. government's like she's a liability, the little girl, and they're gonna kill her. And he was like, "No, I'm not having that. So do what you got to do. If you're gonna come after me, come after me. But I guarantee you're not gonna like the ending." So that's pretty fucking badass, and it looks great. I'm pretty sure
it comes out soon too. You'd have to look at it if you were, I could, but I know it comes out soon.
Right, it's coming out soon.
That's why it popped to us. Like I said, it's hard to catch every trailer that we see, but yeah, some of these movies, like I said, now it starts to get super hot. These will be the times I start catching some flicks too.
Mm-hmm.
On my off day, if I don't feel like getting melted out in the fucking boat.
Right, and we got to discuss maybe going to see Ant-Man. Do a review on that maybe next podcast. Yeah, it's probably going to be good. So we'll get into that hopefully next podcast. But so for Sicario 2, if you have any movie to go see at this moment, there's really not much. That is definitely one to go check out, especially if you're in New York, because it's fucking hot right now. You want to go and stay in a cool fucking movie theater and see a good-ass movie, that would be the one. For sure. So we'll leave it at that. I'm excited to see that one, actually. I mean...
That's the end of the movie topics. Oh, wait.
No.
I know. Joke, man.
You wish it was. You wish it was the end of the fucking movie topics. But it's not. So let's do it real quick. All right, so before Dan cries, let's give a little background real quick. All right. Speaking of Josh Brolin, all right, he wasn't happy with his performance in Deadpool 2, which we can get into that real quick before we go into the rest of the topic. All right, this is like a two-part topic. Yeah. That's why it was so big on the list. But so he didn't like his performance in Deadpool 2, which is interesting to me and probably you, Dan, because we both thought he played great as Cable.
I think he played for what the movie was.
Right.
Like that wasn't the movie. Deadpool was not a serious It's got a lot of like breaking the barriers and making a lot of jokes and crude jokes. I expected it to be like that. I wasn't expecting him to be like get the Academy Awards. I don't know what he was expecting himself to be either.
I mean, maybe he felt like he could have done it a little differently. I mean, now that I think about it after reading the article, he didn't have a lot of speaking lines. Matter of fact, like, yeah, he played off of Ryan Reynolds a few times, but it was Ryan Reynolds' show.
That's what the movie is supposed to be, like, right? Deadpool's just like he's supposed to be like a camera whore, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, he's constantly making jokes. The plot's revolving around himself. He's fucking self-centered. He's a dick. Like, you know, he's running the show.
Yeah.
Everybody else is around him, and that's just how it was written. So for him to come on himself in a bad way, I don't think anybody perceived him as doing that role bad. I don't think so.
I don't think.
I mean,
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear that either, and we did our review on it. We thought he did great. So if you guys want to go and check back, I'll leave a little thing at the top so you can check back on our Deadpool 2 review, and you can see for yourself. We both thought it was great. So yeah, this was a little bit out of left field. So now this is what's weird. This is where the article kind of like makes a turn for the worst, and this is where Dan is not happy. So now it seems that the X-Force was a hit. What Ryan Reynolds did was he finally got Fox a win. So now, in Fox's eyes, it's like, okay, people want to see more of this X-Force, which is a real thing. It's in the comics. And a lot of the people that they just killed off right away happen to be in X-Force. So who even knows, like, how they would do it.
Another one. Holy
right.
Fuck.
So it's looking like they're seeing potential to make more X-Men movies, but with X-Men that are going to sell, which is weird because these are C-list X-Men characters at best. You know
and that was the joke of the movie.
Right.
That he picked shitty-ass people. A guy with luck. He's got Peter or Paul fucking flying. The whole point of it was to be a joke. And now for some
oh my god.
or a producer who saw this and for some reason his fucking shitty brain said, you know what? We should totally make another X-Men. Like, motherfucker, look at you made 6. That's not even counting the immense amount of fucking Logan bullshit. I gotta see that guy fighting in Japan? Enough. Give me different movies, please.
Oh my god. So, relax for a second, Jesus.
I fucking hate it. I hate it.
What's fucked up was when we did the Deadpool 2 review, I was like, you know, they probably could make an X-Men movie out of this, and you were like, no, absolutely not.
You know, of course, somebody's brain tricked for it.
I think it was just like they saw the writing on the wall.
Higher, like, platform if somebody was gonna do it. Like, they would have to, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's fine. What is it? 20th Century Fox, you said, owns it?
Yeah.
Like, the rights, fine. They obviously have to be the breadwinner, and they'll make the money. But whoever, like, they have to break down whoever thinks they're writing them. Everything, dude. Like, I kid you not, there wasn't one that's grabbed me. There's not one.
Right. I mean, the X-Men movies are shit.
What the fuck? Because,
right.
you know, like, in the beginning ones, awful. I thought 90% of those actors were dog shit that are playing those fucking X-Men movies. Then you make the new ones, and obviously he's not going to be in them anymore, Hugh Jackman, because that was the only guy that cast that looked like Wolverine. They're not going to fucking cast them anymore. So they trying to revamp everybody in it, and it was just like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
I told you to watch the cartoons. Like, why is the fuck? Like, they didn't make Rogue right. They didn't fucking have Gambit.
Well,
like,
even
there was shit. Like, fucking Holly Berry. Like, come on. I just, goddamn.
All right. I get it. We get it, Dan. Jesus, no, I'm just kidding. No, you're absolutely right. I totally agree with you on this one. Like, come on, that's not right. They saw the writing on the wall. They see it as a cash grab, and we talk about cash grabs all the time. They know that that's gonna sell. Ryan Reynolds did his fucking job well. That's what that means. He fucking laid the groundwork out for them to do this. But this is the thing. We know that Disney is acquiring Fox. And me and you know very well what's involving on that. So that's the thing. So honestly, at the end of the day, yeah, they can do this, but it's in Marvel's hands at this point.
And you hope that could be a better.
There's no
You know what I
way.
mean? Like if they could find a way to redo. It's like the same thing though, but they learned their lesson. Like the Fantastic Four. I thought those movies were shit. Then they made the remake, and it was actually more shitty.
Right.
Like incredible. I know that's not even the way to say it, but that's the only way to describe how fucking shitty it was.
Exactly.
Like that movie
And that's
was
Fox.
terrible.
That's Fox too.
So,
So
I mean, that's what
right.
it's like. You don't know what you're doing with these things, so stop.
Well, that's why Disney's acquiring these rights.
Get it? Yeah. No,
Right.
I mean maybe they can find a way, but I almost feel like they're dead.
Yeah.
Like they're so fucked. It's like Green Lantern. Like I know they're gonna do one because they want to do like an Aquaman. I don't even think that'll catch on. Like the Flash might be one that'll grab. I really believe that, just because it's something we haven't seen. We haven't seen something since like the old fucking TV shows. Like we haven't seen a grasp of these movies in a long time. But some of them, like I think of Ryan Reynolds and Green Lantern. I'm like, God, that movie was so bad. And then like, what are you gonna do? Make a Green Lantern 2 off of that?
No way, absolutely
Like,
not.
dude, that's what I mean. Like, what are they trying to do? Like the Spider-Mans, I guess we can argue that is the same point. I do think the Homecoming ones are better,
Right.
and that's but that again after they got out of the hands
out of Sony, right? And what's weird is Sicario 2. That's a Sony movie. That's great, but why is when it comes to the superhero movies, they totally botch the shit out of it? That's what I don't get. But now that's what I'm saying. So now, like, there's no way in hell they can make this happen without Marvel at this point, because guess what? It's not going to happen before the merger goes down. Now, Disney's acquiring Fox and a whole, so there's no way that they're going to get this movie out within the next 2 months. It's not happening, so it's all talk right now. And honestly, Marvel's got a lot on their plate. They're trying to get Infinity War done, which I heard Paul Rudd almost was the leak of the week on the title. Once again, one of the stars being the leak of the week is fucking ridiculous.
We got to realize too, they're filming them like it's probably already in production.
Right. I actually read an article that they didn't even know the ending of Infinity War, the one we just saw, until they were in the van going to film it. That's how close to the chest they played.
Think about it. Like I said, it's the same as a lot of those movies. A lot of, I think, like the Star Wars movies and ones where they know there's going to be a trilogy, so to speak. They start you're filming back to back, sometimes not even in order. Like sometimes they're doing scenes. Like he might be doing Ant-Man scenes for Ant-Man and the Wasp, and he was doing some scenes for this next one. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he's jumping around. They don't fucking know.
Exactly. I mean, he knows he has an idea, but it's like they don't really know for sure. And like that's the thing. For the last 10 years, Marvel's laid everything out on the table for you. Like you would at least know the title and what's happening next and when it's coming, but they're not doing that right now. Now there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes.
Before you keep going,
what?
I believe that was meant for someone else, that text you just sent.
Oh. Well, guys, I just told Dan I love him. I love you from the bottom of my heart, Dan.
Fuck, I was like, what?
Oh my God.
Fucking Christ.
Holy shit, I can't believe I just did that. Okay, Dan. Okay, I love you, Dan. Don't worry. That's great.
Oh,
That's fucking
it
great.
a little more awkward, but sure.
Holy shit.
Shit.
Oh my God. It's been a long
Man,
fucking day. That's the summertime heat for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Like you said, yeah. We'll see what goes on with it, but Marvel will take care of the rest of this shit.
Right. So don't get crazy yet. It's not gonna happen anytime soon.
I can't stand, and I'm like I say, when I hope people don't misunderstand me and think that hey, I fucking love X-Men.
Right.
I just can't stand what they did to it.
Exactly.
And I've said this personally since like the first one that I saw. I remember me and my oldest brother, who's a huge X-Men fan, just being completely like, "What the fuck?"
Right, and that's what's weird because the X-Men movies by themselves I do not like, but the Wolverine movies I just thought they dragged it out, and I don't like how they ended it. They jumped way too far in the timeline because they knew that Hugh Jackman was not going to play it anymore, and that's what I didn't like. So that's a whole nother story.
Old. Why'd they start with them as old as fuck?
I don't know.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, why'd they start with Magneto, fucking like a Gandalf, fucking walking around? He might as well have had the same beard when he played that character. And I'm like, why is this happening? Like I know that's like like they jump around, but you should have just timelined it better.
Right, but they did. Well, that's the problem. They don't know how to lay this out. That's the problem with DC too. And hold on, before we go into the gaming section, there's an article that's been floating around all week about Kevin Smith, which I like Kevin Smith 100%. I like his podcast; is great. But he was talking about how he would have liked Christian Bale to be in the DC universe as Batman. And I totally fucking agree. 100%. That Christopher Nolan laid the groundwork to make a DC universe. They could have instituted, like we were talking about on the train, like Robin as Batman taking over the mantle. Like just jump up the timeline a little bit, then introduce Superman into that universe. Like they could have done it the right way, but Christian Bale wasn't having it, obviously, or he just was done with the role. He went through 3 movies, it was a trilogy. Sometimes you just got to call it quits, and he's smart. So, like, it's almost like they see what Marvel's doing, and they're trying to do the same. And even the properties, even the companies that have Marvel properties can't even fucking do it the way that Marvel Studios does it. That's just what it is. So it's interesting. That's an interesting topic, honestly, because I could see, like, Ryan Reynolds did such a good job that they could do this, but we know that it's not going to happen, first of all, because of the merger, and if it does happen,
you won't know what it'll be.
You don't know what it's going to be.
Either way, though, please, for the love of God,
please don't.
I'm sure they're not one of our 8 subscribers, but anybody there, don't fucking make this goddamn movie.
Please don't. Holy shit. God, fucking A. All right, so unfortunately, our movie heads. That is the end of the crazy ass movie section for the week of June 24th, 2018. Wow, I got the date right. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm kind of impressed.
Wow, look at that. Look at that. All right, so moving on to the gaming section. Oh, and for your movie heads, we will see you next week. All right, moving on to the gaming section. I'm excited to talk about the next fucking topic. Did I sound a little angry there? Yeah, I might be.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this.
That's all right.
We haven't got to talk about the NES Classic Edition because, frankly, the podcast wasn't the podcast yet when the last run of them came out. So when
how many did they release, by the way?
Okay.
Maybe you would know better than me.
So, I want to say...
I mean, we don't need
I don't know an exact number.
It wasn't a million. It wasn't 10 million. You know what I mean?
No, it was like
a small, finite amount.
Right. And the problem was the actual retail stores, they botched this whole thing up. They botched the pre-orders up. They didn't have enough stock. And what happened was you have these fucking scalpers. They go into Walmart or Target or whatever the fuck, whoever carried them, Best Buy, and they buy 20 of them or fucking 30 of them. They go on eBay and they sell it for $200. Now, these things retail for $59.99, recommended retail price. And it's funny that I say that because before we go into the topic, I saw on one of the Facebook groups today, I forget which one it was, but they were like, I don't get why, I think it was like Target or something is selling it for $72.65 after tax. Like, why is it $10 more? And this is the thing. The reason why it's $10 more is because that is the recommended retail price. The company does not have to sell it at $59.99. So they can sell it at whatever the fuck they want at the end of it.
Yep.
So that's what it is.
Demand, people. Welcome to capitalism.
Yeah, it's capitalism. So that's what it is. So now, here's the thing. So now the last run of these, since we didn't get to even cover the last run, it was, what's the word I want to say? They just didn't release enough of them. They didn't have they didn't have enough product to supply the demand. That's what happened. And then, not to mention, the product that they did have ended up getting into the hands of scalpers, and they were on eBay or Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, wherever the fuck they could possibly sell these. They were selling them for $200, and you know what's funny? I still see the old run of them pop up on Marketplace and eBay every once in a while, and they're still $179. They maybe dropped to $20.
Yep.
So these scalpers are fucking assholes. And the reason I put this on the list was because all fucking weekend long, I think they released this on the 28th, and all weekend long, people been posting up, oh, my local Target has fucking 12 of them in the glass case. Oh, my local Walmart has like 15 of them in the glass case. I just got mine. All over the fucking place. And it was such a good thing to see because it was like, you can't scalp this now. Because there's no way that I could go to Target right fucking now at, 9:41 at night, right before it closes, and go buy one. Right now. I don't have to even think twice. I don't got to stand on a line. I don't got to go on eBay and buy it for $200. I can go right now and get it. So it's good. So you saw it then? You saw that? The NES Classic?
Well, I remember when it first, because I was funny, it was with the podcast. I might have even, because it was actually, I'm trying to think when it actually went out. I'd have to see the exact date, but I remember like my brother wanted one, and then we were laughing at how quick they went.
Right.
And then we were like, well, all right. Like, but yeah, I'm not a type of person. I didn't want it bad enough where I'm paying quadruple the value off of fucking eBay.
No.
I was like, all right, like I'm sure if they made them once, they'll make them again. We just wait. I just ironically had no idea that they just did it again.
Right.
So I like to play the ROMs like you said. I used to do a lot of it on the computer or like DS, but I'd like one connected to my TV. I'd like that more, to be able to just boot it up and play.
Well, right, and it
comes with like you would know more. You look more into that stuff. I just see it at first, and I'm that type of buyer when it comes to that.
Well, and like, it's coming in at 720p. Yep. So like that's great. I mean, to have the classic NES, that classic NES is coming in composite, so you're not getting a good connection to the TV. So
and how many does it come with? Do you know the games? Like
okay.
A lot of them.
So it comes with about 30 games. Most of them are first-party classics, but they do have certain stuff on there that's not. I have to look at the list to make sure.
I don't need the list. I was just saying, I didn't know 30 is more to me. I didn't
right.
know it was like 1,000.
And they actually, there's people that have hacked them. They are vulnerable, and Nintendo doesn't care. They left a message for the hackers like, congrats, like have fun, like they don't care that. Awesome. And you can load it up with the whole library. The library's not that big in size. So it's like, you could put the whole library on there if you really want.
I'll go quick.
All right. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. Holy shit, I froze up. We would have let it kept going, but I had a stupid-ass face on right there. So, anyway, I lost my train of thought. NES Classic.
We were just finishing up with the NES Classic and how, they make it more. We know that. Right. It's a lot easier to get them 30 games. So like you said, like it sounds pretty awesome actually. It sounds like something I would get, and then I'd give it to you to hack. So that works out good in my life.
Yeah.
I'd want the whole library, of course.
Well,
like that goes without saying.
My idea was I
don't sell that. Like, why would you not just sell it with the entire library? Is it really that hard to do?
Yeah,
just make it $100 the whole library.
Well, the reason why they can't sell it with the whole library is because there's a lot of developers that aren't even in business anymore. And they'd have to pay them for the rights to those games because it's illegal to just dump the library on there.
Nintendo owned them.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, they were the publisher on everything. You couldn't publish your own shit. You had to go through Nintendo, but they still had rights to their games. So it is what it is. My whole thing was, I told my girlfriend, I was like, oh, I should get an NES Classic Edition. And she goes, I don't care because it's only $59.99, but my whole thing is, if I already hook up my classics through the computer to the TV and it gets upscaled to 4K. So why am I going to go get the NES Classic when I have it right here on the computer in 4K? It doesn't make sense to me. So like for any other
TV plays in 4K?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Of course it does.
But your Pro doesn't. That's for sure. Oh wait, you don't have one. Sorry.
Yeah, well, fucking heck. Well, we got to get to 4K sometime in this fucking podcast, all right? True. Holy shit. It. All right, so let's leave that at that.
Yeah.
If you want an NES Classic Edition, get your ass to Target. And you know what? You don't have to. You can go whenever the fuck you want because these scalpers lost. They lost. And I even think some companies have a rule now where you can only buy two, if at the most. You and a friend, I think, for most companies.
Good. Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them big. You
Why do you
got
get the big
fucked.
money off of that? That's what I mean.
Right, you're not
Yeah,
even. What
yeah.
are you making, $500? Like, go get a fucking job, you idiot. Like, get the fuck out of here, honestly. All right, well, we'll leave it at that. All right, so let's talk about this fucking controversy from Sony right now. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. So I'm fucking dying right now. It is, guys, it is fucking hot. It's like 80 degrees at night right now here. So anyway, it is what it is. All right, so the president of Sony, Sean Layden, he was like, we're going to talk. We're discussing cross-platform play. Listen, I understand why Epic Games and their Fortnite bullshit, but also Bethesda is pissed.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is I love Bethesda to death. You know, those are some of the best games out right now. And they've been good for years, so it is what it is. But the reason they're pissed is because they want everyone to have the same experience. Not only that, the new Fallout is a heavy multiplayer type game.
Yeah.
So like they want everybody to be in the same place. I get it. And with Fortnite, the reason why they're pissed is because they finally got their shit on Nintendo Switch. So if you had a PS4 and you want to play Fortnite on the go, and you had your character from Fortnite on your PS4, there's nothing you can do about it. You cannot transfer it to the Nintendo Switch. You can't.
Yeah.
So you have to
like
make
account bound. Yeah.
Right. So your stats, your character, all that shit can't transfer over to your Switch. So you shit out of luck. You got to make a new one. It's like starting over. So now the people are yelling at Epic Games like, what the fuck? I bought the Fortnite for my Switch. How come I can't do this? And they're like, talk to Sony. I have nothing to do with this. I've been wanting to do this. Sorry.
I can see it being a little hairy though. You got to watch out. Like, what happens if people that played on the Switch are dog shit compared to the people that played on fucking the PS4? So I go onto the Switch, dominate, have them transfer me to the fucking Fortnite server, and I'm all jacked up. You know what I mean? Like to the PS4 server, and I'm all jacked up. I don't know if that's how it works, but
well, I mean,
I don't know. I had never heard of it. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand why people think you're gonna. To me, it sounds trivial. Like, I get what you're saying, but I'd probably side eye. Ironically, I'd err with the side of Sony. I'd say, fuck yourself.
Right.
You can't play it. Why the fuck should I get any game? That's like saying, like, anything I play on the Xbox, I could transfer over to, like, my PS, if I had, the PS4, like, if I had the game. Like, it's stupid.
Well, see, the whole thing is, Sony doesn't want to play ball with them. That's it. It's done. Because you know what? It's competition. They don't want their competitors to be able to be involved with how they make money.
Tony, you blow, so I'm gonna fucking go switch my character to play it on. Like, I doubt the Switch, but it could be the Xbox and stuff. Fuck.
Well, Microsoft and Nintendo, Microsoft and Nintendo have a deal. They don't care. They're doing cross-platform play.
Yeah,
so you could be on your Xbox One X playing with somebody on the Switch, and it doesn't matter. But Sony, they're ahead of the game. And they're not about to, start sharing their money with Microsoft and Nintendo. It's all competition. That's it. Yeah. So all these people writing articles and all the people wondering, like, why can't we get cross-platform? It doesn't fucking work like that.
Let's just become a PC then, motherfuckers, and start playing it on your computer.
Right, and that's where we're going anyway.
We always talk about it. It's funny. That's how you circle back.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
You want to play against somebody on the Switch, and if I'm on my Xbox and you don't care, then why the fuck isn't there just one console, aka computer, that we're all playing on?
Right, and you know what? The whole talks of the next PlayStation, guess what it is? It's a powerful PC, and they're getting a special processor for it. Guess what? PC's light years ahead of that anyway. So, like, at a certain point, you're not going to have an Xbox or a PlayStation. You're going to be on PC if you want the newest shit that's compatible with your 4K TV, and that's even better than your 4K TV.
You don't need it. People don't realize that either. Like, I could take my fucking computer tower right now, unplug it, and plug it into my TV.
Yeah, and you'll be fine. I could do the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. I know MacBooks can do it too, but it's just funny. We could do the whole thing. It wouldn't even matter.
Yeah, it wouldn't even. I wouldn't even flinch.
Like, I need to buy another monitor. Like, no, you don't have to play it like that.
Right.
And I could literally get a company that makes, like, literally an Xbox controller. Or a PS4 controller. It's not called that. And I can Wi-Fi it into the front of my tower, and I can play it just like I'm playing that.
Yeah, and honestly,
and I can connect to the internet that way. It's like you can do it all.
Absolutely. And honestly, Microsoft, since it's Windows, you could use your Xbox One controller right on Windows anyway. So
Yeah, true. Yeah.
so you have nothing to worry about, honestly.
Yep.
So it's honestly a no-brainer. So for these people writing these articles like, oh, Sony says they're going to think about it. Yeah, they're going to think about it, and they're not going to do it. Unless they see profit, they're not doing it.
Why would they? Yeah.
They're not. They're not going to do it. That's it. It is what it is. So I would get that thought out of your head. I mean, as much as I would like to see Bethesda, strive on their new Fallout, like, yeah, I want to see that. And if they think that the multiplayer is that crucial to this next game that they need Sony to be participating with these other two companies, Nintendo and Microsoft, then yeah, I would like to see that. But honestly, I don't see it happening.
Right. Do it.
Yeah, if you want to pay, then you can play.
Sony will say, give me X percentage and I'll do it. Yeah, I'm sure there's more in the books than we know.
Right. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes, so that's what it is. So let's move on to this next topic before my computer shits out again. Oh my god, holy shit. Alright, so anyway, this one is great. This is the greatest thing I've read all day today. Alright, so recently there's a game, shaq-Fu. Did you see it?
Yeah. I figure you love this.
I do love this because it's going to piss off these fucking Democrats. So, I mean, listen, I'm not about to get all political in here. I'm not trying to be like right wing, left wing, but this I hate.
Love it.
Yeah, I hate fucking liberals, honestly. So I'm sorry if you're liberal, if you watch the podcast. I don't hate you personally. I just don't like the ideals that are coming from these fucking liberals. I'm sorry.
You know what's so awesome is that you fucking co-host is liberal. So it's interesting how you do one without ever knowing it. There you go, people. You heard it here. You didn't even know.
I don't know. But you know what? We very rarely...
I don't argue, talk politics.
Right. We very rarely talk politics. I'm not all about Trump, so don't get that idea. I don't like Trump either.
It's a different philosophy, ideology.
Right.
Absolutely.
The ideology behind liberals are, in certain situations, just don't make sense in my mind. So it is what it is. But this is going to piss them off.
I know, yes. There are people this is going to piss off.
Right. It might not piss you off. But it's going to piss somebody off. So I love it. I love it. All right. So now, shaq-Fu. If you haven't seen the game, I'm pretty sure it's on Switch and Xbox One. It might even be on PS4. I don't even know.
I remember, like a while ago.
Right. So now, shaq-Fu, it's Shaq, and he's kicking ass. It's like a brawler. Like an old school brawler, scrolling, and he's just kicking ass through the whole game. And the game is like he's trying to save the world, I think. I don't know. It's something like that.
I don't know the premise. I've just seen it and I giggle.
Right, and it's like a cartoon version of Shaq, and he's doing his thing. It actually, I heard good reviews on the game. Like, it's a good brawler. Yeah, they love it.
It has a follower. So that's
right.
Make the part better.
So it's like people actually like it, and it got good reviews, and it looks like a good game. It's a good cartoony style, so it is what it is. So, yeah, all right. So now, if you got the physical copy of shaq-Fu, good news for you, because you got Barak-Fu. The Adventures of Dirty Barry, which happens to be a parody of Barack Obama. So, like, the storyline is, like, celebrities are getting killed, and nobody, and the cops can't do anything about it, so they send in Barack Obama.
I gotta see this. Is it out yet, or is it just something that...
I think, I don't know if it's out yet, but it's supposedly, it's on the physical disc. It's on the disc as, like, downloadable content. So it might even be free. I think it's free, and honestly, you can't download it. So, like, if you were on Xbox Live and you wanted just to download Barak-Fu, you couldn't. I think it's only for the people that crowdfunded shaq-Fu. They got the physical copy, so they got Barak-Fu on there, too.
That's pretty awesome.
It is fucking awesome, and he's, like, kicking ass and shooting people and shit. It's, like, hysterical.
I gotta show it to my brother-in-law.
Right, it's like a parody of the president. Now, for me and you, we could laugh and we think that that's awesome.
Oh,
there's going to be people that are going to cry themselves to sleep tonight.
The last guy in the game, instead of like a Bowser, is like Trump. Yeah, then like people go nuts.
Right. They're going to fucking go nuts over it, and they're going to cry about it, and they're going to cause a ruckus, and then they're going to blame Trump for this. That's what makes me laugh. They're gonna probably blame Trump, like Trump had something to do with
Or
this.
he'll tweet about it. That would be funnier too.
Oh my God! Imagine he was like,
Where's Trump-Fu or something? Like it could just turn into the funniest shit ever.
Holy shit! And can you imagine he like tweeted like, "Just beat Barak-Fu was a great game." These motherfuckers will let him have it. He'd be all over Fox News, like like. Oh my God! Somehow he's gonna get blamed for it, like he developed the fucking game, and that's what makes me laugh. It's like you liberals, it's all these young kids, man. I can't even just blame liberals in general because not all liberals, like you said, not all liberals are the same. But a lot of these young kids, they just want to be mad about something. You know what I mean? And this is gonna be what they get mad about.
Man, that's what we're in nowadays.
You can mark my word; they're gonna be mad about it.
That's what I wanted to find. I haven't heard anything before you said that about it. So that's why.
Right, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we're breaking the news right now. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen any other podcasts talk about it, but it's interesting, and it's not like it's done bad or in bad taste. Like he's kicking ass. He's not a joke. Like he's actually running the show. He's kicking ass. He's trying to save the world. But they're still gonna find some bad shit to say, and Trump's still gonna be the one taking the blunt of it either way. So it's funny. It made me laugh today. I'm so happy that made the list. So anyway, if you guys got shaq-Fu, you'll be able to check out Barak-Fu, The Adventures of Dirty Barry. Like it's like Dirty Harry. Yeah, it's funny. Oh my God, that made my fucking day. Holy shit. All right. So as we move on to the last topic of this week's Assassin Cast for June 24th, 2018, we're going to talk about the ridiculous Westworld game from Dan's beloved franchise and series. It's got some fuckery going on. It's interesting how two topics tonight were based on the same people, really. We had, well, what do we have before in the movies? Josh Brolin got mentioned twice, and now we're going to be talking about Bethesda. So, so apparently, did you see this?
Yeah, I was reading it when you were right before we started. So that's why I'm always calling off. These games have, what's it called? They have potential, I guess, but I don't know. Like, you got to be careful. Like, certain games try to jump. Don't worry about it. Some games try to, what's it called? Like, jump all over the, like, the heap once it's popping out. Like, Westworld's got, like, just finished season 2. That's why I was laughing. We were recording this later than usual because I didn't give a shit because my show's already over.
Yeah, it's done.
But yeah, I can't. I'm trying to understand the concept of the game because I understand the show, but I don't understand what they're going to try and do.
Right, and from what I saw is Westworld, the game, is a mobile game. And it's really rare that we even speak on mobile games. It just made the list because it has to do with Westworld, and Bethesda is suing them. There's a lawsuit going towards the developers of that game and maybe even HBO, because I think HBO is the one that put this game out. So now they're suing HBO over stolen code. So now this is what's weird, right? So now they make this game for Westworld, and for me, I feel like it has older people in mind. Because if you think of the people that watch HBO, obviously aren't kids. Kids aren't going to pay cable packages. It's got to be anybody, I feel like. This game is, like, out for people, like, 30 and older, and some 30-year-olds that have families.
I guess.
Right?
I'm 33 and I don't even play no fucking games on my computer.
On your phone, I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I meant to say on my phone, yeah.
Right. I just feel like it's made for, like, a 50-year-old. Like somebody that watches the show, but they don't have a console, but they have a phone because they need to have one because everybody has a smartphone now. It was able to get that crowd of people, but it's a weird fucking game. There's no gameplay really from what I saw. It's almost like you're running the park of Westworld, is what they say.
Yeah. Well, like it would be like the Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I was just about to fucking say that.
But that's what they do. Like I told you, I see a bunch of mobile apps that are Game of Thrones as well. No game has popped out, but what's funny from playing a lot of MMOs online, I always thought like concepts of those backgrounds would be interesting to try like making an MMO of Westworld, like a mass multiplayer online, or playing a like a Game of Thrones type concept. But unfortunately, I laugh. The idea is grandiose, but they can't.
They can't. And this is what's really fucked up because now, what?
World of Warcraft, like Blizzard, kills any game that ever tries to do that. The only
Right.
one that ever created one that's still around is Star Wars, like SOTOR it's called, like Star Wars: The Old Republic, but it still is nowhere near the probably I think 1 million subscribers. Like think about that for Blizzard, that a company we don't talk about because they only do a few games for consoles, but Blizzard gets like $18 a month for somebody playing.
Right, and people are still playing Diablo and Warcraft.
It's 1 million people on Warcraft paying $18 a month. That's $18 million a month.
And they're
revenue.
good. And they're good.
That's
They're going to play that shit forever.
But it brings us back. I don't mean to go off topic, but like the mobile apps, that's like weird. I see this a lot now, so I'm not surprised when I said it and I saw that they would do more of them.
Right. So now this is what's fucked up. So now, like, there's not a lot of gameplay. Like we said, it's like Roller Coaster Tycoon. They're taking over the park, really. Oh my god. They're taking over the park, really. Test. Shit, I thought I was like fucked up right there. So I have no idea why they're doing this. It's weird because it's like you're really just focused on the park itself, but then like there is some little gameplay to it. But the reason that
People would like it though. That doesn't surprise me. If you could make a park like Westworld and then have everybody killing each other, come on, man. How many people played Sims? Like not like Sim City.
right,
And
but-
what did you do? You made an awesome town, and then you unleashed fucking Mothra to come out of the sky and blow up the whole town, or throw tornadoes. We all did it.
right. But this is
that's the type of part. But again, that's old in my opinion.
this is what's fucking weird. Okay,
That's
so
like
now
stealing code.
they're stealing the code from Bethesda from their Fallout Shelter mobile game app. So Fallout Shelter, I guess, is almost the same, or it looks the same, something along those lines. And it's at this point where they're like, "This is my game. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Putting Westworld on this and changing all the textures and the people and the." It's like if it's the same code, they're in the wrong. It's, so, and it's like, since it's not even like a well thought out game, which, like you said, yeah, maybe the idea is good in a sense,
It
like
never
you're running the
works
park.
It never works when they put it to like a game. Like these
Right.
ideas sound amazing in our brains, and then it's just like,
And it
when we
doesn't
put 'em
work.
down, it doesn't work. It never does.
So now, if Bethesda knows for a fact that they're stealing their source code to have this game happen, they're gonna be in a lawsuit, and HBO is gonna get hit pretty hard on this lawsuit unless they settle. So who even knows? But on the other side of that coin is, if you like this game, mobile game Westworld, guess what? They're gonna be in court over this. They're gonna lose because it's stolen code. And if you want to continue to play that mobile game, once you delete it off your phone, that's it. It's gone. That's the whole problem with digital fucking media. It's gone. You're not going to be able to go and get the app again and try and fucking play this game. It's not going to happen. Or if you go and get a new phone, you can't transfer that app over to it because guess what? And technically it's illegal software.
Yep.
So you're not going to be able to have it. So that's a really fucked up situation that HBO is in. And it's a fucked up situation that Bethesda's in because they're like, listen, we put in all the work for this game.
Like, fuck yourself making money on me. Yeah.
Right, you're making money off of our project. And honestly, some software, for those people who don't know, some software happens to be open source, which means you can utilize the program, you could change the program, you could do whatever you want with the program. But at the end of the day, you cannot make money off an open source program. That's in part of the agreement of an open source. So once a developer says this project is open source, you could use it all you want, but the second that you go to try and make money off of it, that's illegal.
Yep. And
the person that developed the software in the first place can take you to court, and they will win, because that's what the law is. So it's interesting that it's got its ups and downs right here.
We don't. HBO would know, but I said it's interesting because, like I tell you, if you ever look on your mobile games, like things that pop up, if I ever see it, there's like 50 million Game of Thrones. So they're making Game of Thrones, and now they made Westworld, but they stole Westworld. Like there's one of two things happening: either the Bethesda's reaching, and it really didn't steal it, or why don't you start looking at the Game of Thrones games and find out where they got their code for that? You know what I mean? Like it could start falling back where it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
There's a lot of Game of Thrones games, man. There's got to be like, if you type in Game of Thrones in your app store, it's got to be 30 games that probably pop up.
Right, but now this is what's fucked up. It's like they picked Fallout Shelter because obviously maybe the engine is good or
who knows what they did,
maybe it applies good. I mean, we don't fuck with the mobile games, so we don't really know. But like maybe it just applied well, and their developers were like, "Oh, listen, we could use this base code to start and do our own shit with it." But that's not how it works. You know, like unless they buy rights to it, their engine, it's not legal. So it's weird. It's weird that this is even on the list. So I guess, I mean, we'll see what happens. Obviously, if this becomes a big lawsuit, we'll cover it later on.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
so it's interesting. But that's it. That's the end of this week's Assassin. Yeah, made it through. I'm sweating bullets here. It's fucking hot in my apartment right now. All right, so before we get out of here, so you're just playing the classics, right?
Yeah, I've been fucking around, nothing new. Same as last week. I haven't really. Maybe I'll start with Halo 2 again. Maybe
Right.
I might get like teased a little. If I look at that and get into it, I will go to the store and find the original Halo, or try to find mine. But I'm gonna go ahead and assume
that it's gone.
Again, that my piece of shit brother probably either A is playing it as we speak, or more likely than not sold it.
Maybe.
Fund another game of his that is no longer in my possession.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, you got Halo 2. You get to go through that. I mean, that's not really the longest campaign in the world. So.
No. Those games are like the Modern Warfare. I got it here. I blew through that in like 3 days, and I laughed. And then I put it up to the highest level and finished it. And then I fucking was fucking around on the downloadable content, but it was the same thing.
Right.
It's a lore once I finish it. And I'm like, oh, like I get into the storyline a little, but not really.
Yeah. So, right now I'm playing Uncharted. Drake's Fortune, which is the first of the 3-part series, and honestly, a lot of people are gonna hate me right now, but I'm not feeling it. I think it's a little bit drawn out. I don't like the third person. Maybe it has something to do with the controls, but it's like it was kind of repetitive last night. I actually gave it a go after you had left here. I was playing for about an hour or 2 hours, and I don't know. It's just not my.
Left his place at like 1. I played 2 hours of Uncharted.
I did.
Right.
And honestly, it's just like, yeah, the climbing and stuff. Maybe I'm a little, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit used to the way Assassin's Creed is, where you can climb on anything. And shit like that. Because, like, the climbing, it's like, it's really not, like, you can't climb the way you want to. You have to do it
like
their
Tomb Raider,
way.
like the original Tomb Raider was like, revolutionary in that sense. And now, like, Assassin's Creed is just. Whew.
It's like I could climb on any building. I could do anything. You know, it's like I'm not limited. But in this game, you're limited on what you can climb on, what you could do. Yeah. Then, like, the weapons are, like, not that accurate. I don't know. It's hard to explain. And then it's almost like I realized last night, like, you could do a certain part of the level any way you want, but one of the ways you do it is the way that it's done. That's the only way you could pass. Like, I noticed that, like, okay, you could pick up a shotgun, but you don't have a lot of rounds. So you have to rely on your handgun to progress to a certain point. But then when they storm you, you pull out the shotgun, you let them all have it, and then you proceed. But you could also have the AK-47 and do it a different way, but you won't get past. But then there's parts where, like, they're too far away, so you can't use the shotgun. You have to use the AK-47.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you got to do it their way at the end of the day. I don't know.
Breadcrumbing it. They want you to run it that way. Yeah, but those are all the games, man. That's what they used to do.
Right.
Like, you have 18 rounds in this, so you need to kill these 18 guys at this, the 18th second of this 18th minute, and that's it. Blah, blah, blah. That's what they always do.
Pretty much. So I might, I'm not saying that I'm not going to finish it, but I might move back to Arkham.
I wish
Batman,
people here,
Arkham
too,
City.
by the way, people were just making mental notes, because this man, before he started this game, was also playing like 6 others, and he just jumps around a lot. We've had conversations. He doesn't listen. I can't get him to stick to one. It's impossible.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. After Revelations, I haven't played anything. I was actually...
You had Duke Nukem you were going at for a little bit.
Right, and I told you...
You didn't finish that. Like, I know you, man. Like, you didn't finish your shit.
Well, I told you, Duke Nukem is just fucking outrageous.
Yeah.
I could probably do that in a day, that whole
I
campaign.
agree. No, I agree. I just laugh. Just jump around. That's why. But everybody's different, man.
Right.
Like that's just how I used to play games. Like we used to fucking relentlessly play a game until you beat it.
Right.
I could not go. The only way I could do it is if I was playing like a completely different genre. If I was going like RPG and then on the side was playing like
a shooter or a Madden, right? Yeah.
That's what I would do. Sports. That's what we used to do a lot. Yeah. Get a game and then break it up by like, oh, so and so's like, somebody's coming over and we'll play some fucking FIFA, play some MLB The Show, play some Madden, and then all right, get out of here so I can get back to my game.
Exactly. I mean, well, that's the whole thing. It didn't really catch my attention.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. If it doesn't, you can't.
And like I heard, the third part of the 3-part series of Uncharted is really good. So maybe it's just the beginning of their series. I got to give it a chance. Maybe it gets a little better midway, which I will play more. I'm not gonna just throw it to the side yet. I'm gonna actually give it some more time, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff I got to get to over there, so who knows? But I'm definitely gonna do a shooter too. If not Duke Nukem, something else. So we'll see. And I am playing. I'm working through Crash Bandicoot 2.
Play so many games. You're just like feeding my point. Like I
Right.
keep going, oh yeah, and I'm also playing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, cause some nights I don't have time to sit there for 2 hours playing Uncharted, but like I have 15 minutes, so I could just run through a level of Crash Bandicoot 2 real quick. You know what I mean?
No, I hear
It really depends on the situation. And last night we were playing Knockout Kings, which I fucking love Knockout Kings. That shit was so funny. We were laughing the whole fucking 2 times we played. We played 10 rounds twice. We are both tied, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, went to the fucking decisions.
Went right to decision. That's right,
That's
both times.
crazy.
Holy shit.
He's gonna work on it, pounding down his button to get up. I had a lot more practice in the first match, but I think I pressed him where he was. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, man, you came back on the second time around. And you know what, guys? I'm at the point where I might want to get some screen capture software for the TV so that maybe me and Dan could stream some of these games because they're fucking hilarious. We were fucking laughing so hard.
That would be good.
Yeah, so we'll work on that. But that's really it for this week's Assassin Cast for June 24th, 2018. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Shout out to Indonesia because they love us there. And obviously New York as well, and everywhere else in the world that catches our weekly podcast. What else was I gonna say? I forgot.
I don't know.
I have no idea, but the console cleaner video is also going to be out this week with this podcast. This one's going to be on time. I'm Jeremy Malaspina, accompanied by the one and only Dan McCarthy. We're signing out.
Peace out, bitches.
Peace, bitches.